Hello, everybody. I'm Ricky Smith, and this is Faith on Friday Presents. At Faith on Friday Presents, we're all about highlighting inspiring people, engaging topics, and small businesses. And while you're here, don't forget, subscribe, like, and share our content with your network. Okay, so what do you know about infectious disease? I know we just came out of a pandemic, and unless you were living under a rock, you may have heard about it. But what else is there? Very few of us know anything about infectious disease, let alone an infectious disease specialist who's not Dr. Fauci. Well, today I want to introduce you to our very own infectious disease specialist here in El Paso, Texas. His name is Dr. Oge Alozie. Y'all say hello to Dr. Oge. What's up, guys?
Doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks so much for being here. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
My joy, my pleasure, sir. So we're going to jump right in it because there's so much to talk to you about. First things first, what is an infectious disease specialist and what do you do for a living?
So once upon a time when I was in med school, which seems like eons ago, I just figured the ID guys are the nerds, right? They were the guys that sat in front of the class, and I didn't think I was a nerd, right? I played sports and did all the stuff. But what I realized when I really got into ID, and I was sort of triggered by a life event, was that we look at sort of the world and all the threats to the world, right? So infections or infectious diseases, anything that affects the human body, right? Any particles, bacteria, living organisms that can affect the human body. Everybody knows about it because of SARS-CoV-2 or COVID, right? But what they didn't know is that it can be worms or what are called helminthic infections, bacteria, or can cause bacteremia. You get a tooth infection, sinusitis, or a cavity. You may have an uncle or an auntie that has had a hip replacement or a knee replacement. They can get infected. And so it really runs the gamut. And I often say that I'm the one person in the hospital that every other doctor knows, right? Because everybody's had an infection of one shape or size or other.
Mhm. That is crazy because to me that sounds like you are extremely busy. Are there a whole bunch of y'all out here doing this or what?
Yeah, when I moved to El Paso, there were probably 9 or 10 of us. Now there's only five. I mean, I'm not counting the ones at Texas Tech because they're specifically focused on just UMC and Texas Tech. But in the community, there are five of us, about to be four of us. Somebody's retiring next year. And so my day is kind of crazy. Can wake up at 6, get home early. Sometimes I get home late. But I go as far as Sierra East on the east side, and then I'll touch almost every hospital that comes back west to end up at Trans Mountain.
Oh my gosh, that is a long day. So, what got you into infectious disease? Because you're in medical school, hanging out. Oh, and y'all, full disclosure. So, while he was in medical school, he met another doctor out there, and we interviewed her a few weeks ago. You may remember the other,
Um,
Dr. Alozie.
yes. The better half, yeah,
There you
the
go.
smarter dog, Alozie, as she would have me say.
That's
But
right.
when we were in medical school, I always thought I was going to be a cardiologist. I either
Okay.
wanted to do cardiology or sports medicine, and so that's how I started my career. I was doing an epidemiology degree or a master's in public health degree in cardiovascular medicine, and after the first year, I just got bored. It just didn't click with me, and it's just like that sometimes. And I tell people all the time, if it's not your passion and you have the opportunity to switch it up. And
Yeah.
so I took a summer off, sort of chilled, did some other stuff, some odd jobs. And then one summer, that summer rather, my mom called me from Nigeria. She was in Nigeria and told me
Mhm.
that her sister had contracted HIV.
Oh,
And so
wow.
for me, that was a spark trying to figure out how to help her get medication, what the resources were in Nigeria. I mean, I'm all these miles away in Minnesota, and really understanding what global health was like. And I never looked back.
Wow, that is incredible. Because, you think of infectious disease, and I remember HIV was the only thing that anyone ever talked about. And you rarely hear about it now. So here's the dumbest question you've probably had today. Is HIV gone?
HIV is definitely not gone, but
Mhm.
HIV is no longer a death sentence. And so when I was going through med school and a little bit of residency, if you contracted HIV, we knew that on average you'd probably pass away within the next 5 years. either it was access to medications or the side effects of the medications. We all remember Easy E and a whole host
Yeah.
of people back in the day, Rock
Hmm.
Hudson, that contracted HIV and then they were dead really
Yeah.
quickly.
Hmm.
Popular stories, well, what happened to Magic? Well, Magic came at the time when antiretroviral therapies or HIV meds were
Hmm.
really getting good. Obviously, he
Right.
had money and access, and so he had some of the early clinical trials. But the average HIV patient or the person living with the HIV is the right nomenclature for that,
Hmm.
is on one pill a day that they take once a day, and they live a full, long life. They will
Yeah.
die. We all die. They're going
Yeah.
to die from cancer or hypertension or a heart attack or a car accident, right? As
Hmm.
El Paso roads are. But HIV is no longer a death sentence.
Wow. And that is so interesting to hear because now, I mean, I'm old enough to remember all of the things that people were going through when HIV AIDS came into play and people were literally just dropping off like flies. Whereas now, you like you said, people are living long, very healthy lives for the most part. And you see commercials
Absolutely.
for this, now.
Yeah.
And
Super Bowl
before that wasn't a
commercials,
thing.
not just commercials, prime time Super Bowl commercials. In fact, we just shot a commercial here in El Paso. And so it's
Really?
going to be an El Paso commercial for a
Mhm.
major HIV company that's going to run in October, November. So I'll definitely share it with your
Okay.
viewers when that time comes.
Dude, that is going to be awesome. Wow. So then the pandemic hits. We're in the COVID season, if you will. And
Yeah.
I saw you everywhere. You were on every news station. You were being interviewed by everybody. I don't know if you got a call from Oprah, but I mean, you were being interviewed just like that. Have you recovered from all that star power and all of that exposure? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. It's funny when you talk about the star power. I don't feel like a star. I'm just a GDI goddamn individual. But I mean, one of the things was always funny to me. People would call me, but man, you're making all this money. You're on the
Right.
Today Show. You're on BBC. You're on CNN. And I was like, bro, you do it for free. They call you and you just say sure. But kind of going back to that time, that was a time of transition for me. I was coming off a 9, 10 year career at Texas Tech where I did a bunch of things, ID, clinical informatics. I just needed a different challenge.
Mhm.
And so I was sort of blessed at that point in time. This was late 2019. And David Chimp, who was the CEO of Just Soul Medical Center, gave me a call and asked me whether I wanted to be his chief medical officer. And I was like, cool, this would be a cool job. I'll get to manage a hospital. I'll be CEO in 4 or 5 years because, of course, I have the arrogance of a physician and the hubris of a Nigerian, right? It's a bad combination. But those two things, I was smelling myself, as they say.
Right.
And so we started it. Things were going great. And then I remember February of 2020, I was on TV with Saul Science,
Mhm.
and SARS or COVID had already been going through China. And he said,
Yeah.
hey, Dr. Alozie, what do you think? It's going to be something that's going to affect us. And I said, no, I'm planning to go to the Japan Olympics in the summer.
Mhm.
Stupidest thing I ever said for the rest of COVID. And really quickly, we realized that this was not a laughing matter. And I mean, it affected the world, it affected our country. And unfortunately, El Paso got hit by two peaks in the summer of 2020 and in that really deadly fall period of 2020 when we were on TV for the wrong reasons. The tents outside UMC and one of the highest rates in America. And for better or for worse, sometimes they say it's better to be lucky than to be good. I
Mhm.
was in front of cameras a lot and
Yeah.
I'd done it before. And once I did it, they were like, hey, we like you. And sometimes I think, and this is me being sort of flippant, but hey, maybe kind of real. I mean, I'm a black dude in El Paso. It's
Sure.
this sort of weird mix, right? We don't get a lot
Mhm.
of black physicians in a Hispanic community that
Mhm.
speak English. And
Right.
again, I don't say it's derogatory, but it
Mhm.
is what it is.
Yeah.
And so I was
Wow.
to communicate. I've always been, I think, a good teacher. And so I like to take complex thought processes and
Mhm.
break them into simple sentences.
Yeah.
And also, remember, we were really politicized at that point in time. And I
That's so
tried as
true.
much as possible, yeah, to be apolitical about it. I was like, hey, these are your risks. This is what you can do to protect yourself. You take it or leave it. I mean, we'll see you in the hospital if you come, but if you can avoid coming to the hospital, all the better for everybody else.
That's just so crazy. Like you said, you hear physicians talk about it in different ways, but this is, I'm sure for a lot of people, this is the first time to hear a physician say it just like that. It is what it is, and this is what we can do. This is what we can't do. But if you're going to do what you do, what then
Yeah,
can we do? Right? That's
yeah.
crazy. And so here you are, like you said, everybody's thinking you're making all the money hand over fist because you're on TV everywhere. But what they didn't see on the back end, you were working really hard.
Yeah, we had long days. I mean, I would get to the house around 5 o'clock. We had all these meetings. And what I didn't realize about corporate healthcare, or corporate America in general, is that whether it's ACA or Tenet, is that they have all of these protocols and there's all these layers. And so we would have these great ideas in El Paso. Hey, we're going to do this, that, and the third. And home office would say, no, you're not.
No, you're
Right.
not.
And so that was my biggest frustration. But it wasn't just the no, you're not. It was, hey, we have to have 22 meetings to make no decisions.
Wow.
Right. That was the thing about corporate healthcare that blew my mind. I'm like, these
Yeah.
23-year-old MBAs are making healthcare decisions. They've never seen a patient. They don't know what death is. They've never held somebody's hand, either having a baby or through surgery or as they take their last breath. And they're making life or death decisions about our community. And so I think for me, that was one of the biggest things that I really railed against. But the days were just long. We would come in and we'd do
Yeah.
drill after drill, meeting after meeting, and you couldn't go anywhere, right?
No.
So in as much as people were like, well, they were sheltered at home, I was sheltered on the streets. I
That's
had to
right.
go
Isn't
from
that
my house
something?
to the hospital. It was crazy. And
That's
then
wild.
it's not like you were in contact with people every single day. So I
Sure.
mean, I actually take badge of honor that I made it to December
Yeah.
18th, 2012, before I got COVID for the first and only time.
Oh, wow. And that is, a lot of people did not get it. I didn't get it till way later myself. It was insane. So then,
It's
looking at the
crazy.
corporate side of healthcare, you went on and you started your own thing. Tell us a little bit about your business, my friend.
Yeah, so what's interesting is that a lot of people didn't realize that I had actually started the business back in 2014 when I was at Texas Tech. And so in 2014, I was sort of head of HIV at Texas Tech, and we were going different directions. I was going a lot faster than the organization could keep up with. And sometimes people are like, well, how did you know XYZ? And I steal a phrase from a friend of mine, Brian Allen, who's at Del Sol, and he's like, it's easy to make decisions when you've seen the future. And so
Mm,
when I was in Minnesota, a lot of the ideas that I started in El Paso, I had done 6, 7 years ago in Minnesota. We just weren't doing them here. So
mm-hmm.
I had the cheat code to do. So I was implementing those things. But because I was 6, 7 years ahead,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the temperament. The other Dr. Alozie will tell you this. I don't have the temperament to be patient. And so I'm
Mm-hmm.
all about, if we can't do it now, get out of my way. And if you
Right.
can't get out of my way, I'm going somewhere else. And so we sort of separation. They
Hmm.
allowed me to move my clinic to a different location, which is over here on Schuster. And so
Hmm.
since 2014, we've actually existed.
Hmm.
I continued it. I grew it. It was really slow for a while, and then I was doing way too many other things. And then during COVID, one of the main reasons that I finally left Del Sol was one, I wanted to do international healthcare, and two is that they just had a line in the sand that if you were a chief medical officer, you can run a clinic. And it didn't make sense. I have about 12, 1,300 patients that are living with HIV. And I said that I'm not going to take that sort of baby that me and my team have grown over the last decade and just throw it out to become a CEO. And so we
Hmm.
went through a rebranding last year. It was two organizations. It was Sunset ID Care and Southwest Viral Med. We're now merged under the title Sunset West Health. And so I really think of us as a full service sexual health organization. So if you're an individual that has sex, swing by.
Full service sexual health organization. So in that, I was just
Absolutely.
going to say, so who are your patients? And you said basically, if you're a person
Everybody.
having sex, you are probably coming to see
Everybody.
me. What do you
Yeah.
see as
And
far as that goes most of
yeah.
the days?
So I think once upon a time we were purely and solely HIV. That's a foundational element of the clinic. But what we realized is that it wasn't just about HIV because my patients or my clients that were living with HIV had people that they were partnered with that didn't have HIV, right? So
Right.
they needed what was
True.
called PrEP, pre-exposure prophylaxis, to
Hmm.
prevent them
Hmm.
from having HIV. Started
Wow.
having college kids, EPCC, wherever, that would come in after having sex or an interesting
Yeah.
weekend, and they would want to be tested for sexually transmitted infections. So we
Hmm.
started opening it up, sexual health testing.
Yeah.
And then to this space where the patients we had also wanted us to be their primary care doctor. So we absorbed some primary care.
Did
And then
you?
one of the
Okay.
biggest growing we have right now is what I call AYA, or
Hmm.
adolescents and young adults. It's essentially 14 to 25. And it's a nice
What?
little sweet spot because a lot of them
Wow.
are young enough on their parents' insurance, but don't want to go to their parents' doctors. But they're
Sure.
not old enough to have a different physician. And
Hmm.
all of them are talking about, worried about, or having sex. And so we're in a very judgment free, guilt free zone. It's not about if, why, or how. It's, hey, come in, we'll take care of you, whether it's your hypertension, your diabetes, your gonorrhea, your chlamydia, your condoms, you just want to stay safe, or your vaccines. That's what we do.
Man, the more you talk, the busier you sound. So, Dr. Loza, if somebody wanted to come out and see you, where would they find you?
So we're over next to El Paso High on Schuster Avenue, and we actually changed our email recently. It's really easy. It's sunsetwest.health, and that's the email,
Awesome.
and that's the website, sunsetwest.health. You find it.
Okay, we're going to find you. Don't worry, you all. If you did not get that information, we're going to have it all down in the description below. And don't forget, while you're here, subscribe, like, and share our content as well. Dr. Alozie, my friend, before I let you go, we got to play a game.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
Let's do
okay.
it.
So this game is called This or That. It's pretty simple. I'm going to give you the choice of a couple of things, and you just tell me which one you like the best. Are you ready to play, sir?
Right, let's do it.
Okay, let's do this.
Da-da-da.
All right, here we go. Flowers or plants?
Plants.
Okay. Hotel or tent?
A hotel all day, every day. Tent? What's that? No, no, no,
What is that? No, sir. I
And
get it.
the hotel, the nicer the hotel, the better. I'm talking about Waldorf or the W or
Of
something. Yeah,
course.
if I'm going out
Why
of town,
else?
I need, I need to relax.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Okay. Yellow light, slow down or speed up?
On average, speed up, but it depends on how far I am away from it. But with my Tesla, everything's speed up.
You are so funny. Okay. Practical joker, or I don't play like that.
Practical joker all day, every day.
Yeah,
The
okay.
more
Full disclosure.
uncomfortable I
We
can
know
make you
him.
feel, the
Yeah, he is
better.
the most at any party, and he's the worst individual at any party. I'm just putting that out there. Okay, there you go. Planner or I make it up as I go.
So both. If I'm going somewhere, I'm the guy that told you in December of last year, I'm going
Mm,
somewhere in October. It's already on my schedule. I have a flight, I have a hotel. But once I get there, oh, I make it up as I go. Don't wake me
yeah,
up. Don't call me. Wherever you see me, you see me. And if you're out with me after midnight, anything that
right.
happens, happens.
Uh, so much to go into right there. Okay, Michael Jackson or Prince?
Oh, my MJ.
Okay, reality TV. Yes, please, or I just can't.
I just can't.
I know I can't. I tried one time.
I
I
can't.
still haven't
No,
forgiven
I
myself.
didn't even try and I still can't. No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Ugh.
Mm. Super Bowl, the commercials or the game?
And the game.
Okay, depends on who's playing. Who's your team?
I'm a Cowboys fan. Cowboys fan for life. I mean, I'm a long-suffering Cowboys fan, but hey, it is what it is. We're still the number one profitable sports team in the
Yeah,
world,
I don't
so we'll
care.
take
Nobody
that.
cares about your stinking stats. Y'all are going to the Super Bowl every year and it's been there since, 1998. I don't care.
The haters gotta hate. Okay.
And finally, my friend,
Wait,
what would
hold
you
up. Do you have a team?
Of course I have a team. Yeah.
Who's your team?
I'm an Eagles fan, sir. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Oh
Ugh.
my God. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, we'll
Well,
obviously
I'll give it
talk
to you.
about that
Jalen
later.
Hurts is dope.
Yes, he
Jalen Hurts
is.
is dope. I'll give
Yeah,
that to
and there's a whole thing. We'll chat about that later. And finally, sir,
you.
what would you tell your 13-year-old self right now?
Wow. You know, that life feels stressful. It feels hard. I mean, backstory is that I grew up as one of three Black kids in Minnesota,
Right.
middle school and then going on to high school. So it felt really weird for me. I didn't know who I was. I didn't think, I thought I was ugly. I thought my nose was too big and everything. But that life is going to throw up challenges, that you're going to get through those challenges by singing a lot, by trying to be happy and just focusing on your goals. That things are going to look hard, but at the end of the day, they'll all work out.
Well, you didn't turn out too bad, sir. Just FYI.
Fingers crossed. Hopefully there's more to go. Hopefully this isn't the
That it
end. I
ain't
hope this
over.
isn't the
Yeah, it ain't
I hope
over.
I got some more chapters and I can help
I
other
hope
people
so
write their
too.
chapters.
Okay, thanks so much for joining me, my friend. I appreciate you.
This has been fun. I really enjoyed it too.
All right, everybody, that's it for this time, but we'll be back next week with more Faith on Friday Presents.